Spotify, Odyssey, or wherever you get your podcast.
This program is a paid commercial announcement and in no way represents the views of WPHT or its management.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. An Odyssey station. Investor Schooling Live with Phil Falcone and Larry Steinhaus on Talk Radio 1210. HD.
You're hot.
Good afternoon and welcome to Investor Schooling Live. Coming to you from Investor Schooling headquarters, I'm Phil Falcone here with my business partner, Larry Steinhaus. We are the founders of Investor Schooling. Get ready to learn real estate investing and stock option investing. Call us anytime during the show with your questions at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. That's right, we're a live program, so you can call us anytime during the show and ask us a question. We'll take your calls. Don't worry about what we're talking about. Just call us. We love to listen to questions from our callers. Investor Schooling is located in Langhorne, Pennsylvania, serving the Philadelphia area in a real brick-and-mortar building. We are local guys, accessible to our students a minimum of 2 nights per week. Learn this business, the business of real estate investing and stock option investing from people who live it every day. So we got a couple topics today. I'm giving away a BMW. So you want to pay attention to that because that's kind of important. If you would like to win a free car, this might be the best place to do it. We're going to talk about putting yourself on payroll from your own company. And we're going to discuss the benefits of that. We're going to talk about the Money Multiplier event that happened yesterday. We had an all-day event at Investor Schooling yesterday with a bunch of different speakers. And we're going to talk about that. And why sell your home on a lease option with an NROC payment? Why would somebody do that? We're going to talk about that. Tenant buildings where they have reached capacity, sell them an option. We're going to discuss that as well. Okay, and NROC comes up again. I ask how much they have to put down first. Then we explain to them how that all works. And then to wrap up our show, we're going to be talking about the stock option sultan. He's going to give us his picks for the week. And we've also had a couple of questions that have come in, like what formula do you guys use for wholesale deals? And look at this. Somebody emailed in a question about NROC as well. So we're going to hit that. Hey, Larry, what's happening?
I know what's happening, Phil. You wrote this today with all these questions just because you made fun of me the other day in class.
I didn't make fun of you. I was trying to help you.
You made fun of me. You made fun of me. I was talking about lease options and NROCs, non-refundable option considerations, for those of you who don't know what NROC is. And I said that I asked for $10,000, and you called me out and said that I was leaving money on the table. I know that's where you want to go with this, but I know we're going to do that later, but I had something better to talk to you about.
Sure, go ahead.
I was talking to Dom Giordano the other day on the phone.
Yeah.
And when I was talking to Dom Giordano the other day on the phone, you know what he said to me?
What'd he say to you?
He said, "What's it like working with that genius, Phil Falcone?"
Well, you know us Italians, we stick together.
All I wanted to do was reach to the phone and yell at him. "Genius? Why is he the genius?" And then I realized that night that you told me that I was leaving money on the table, and he must have been right.
Why don't you play the phone call for me?
Oh, I can't play the whole phone. And plus, the recording's not that great.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the recording's not that great. But and I'm not prepared for it. I would have.
A man calls me a genius. I would usually put that on a never-ending loop.
Well, I figured you might, but
yeah,
you should have
upload it to every YouTube site in the world, that kind of thing.
You should have been listening to Dom Giordano show.
Well, maybe if you called me and told me you were calling the Dom Giordano show, I would have listened.
Well, I didn't know I was calling Dom Giordano show. He brought up landlords and Philadelphia, and I gave him the number one piece of advice that we give everyone else: that there's 2 places in the world to invest. One is Philadelphia, and one is everywhere else, and we choose to invest everywhere else. He liked that, by the way. He thought that was very funny.
So, no, I'm not trying to pick on you. I just figured it was a good topic to talk about since you were just talking about it.
No, I got it.
Yeah.
And the Money Multiplier yesterday, now, I do have to say we missed you, and I really was upset that we missed you. But Phil actually came in today. Phil is in deep pain, and I could see it in his eyes sitting in the chair, the way he's sitting in his chair, that he actually came in pain because you're back, right?
Yeah, well, this is the last time I will ever pull a weed out of a garden.
Yeah, well, first of all, you're rich enough to hire gardeners. Why are you pulling your own weeds?
Well, actually, you don't have to pull weeds. You can just eat the good stuff around the weeds.
You could. That's true. You could eat the good
Yeah,
stuff.
you
right?
don't need to pull weeds.
Right, but you like to look at it and make it. It
Well,
looks pretty when
sometimes
the weeds are-
you go outside to look at your garden and you're like, maybe I'll clean this up a little bit. And that's all I was thinking. And it's funny that I go to the gym like almost every day and lift weights, yet I pull a weed out of a garden and I pull my back out.
Yeah, I did that many years ago. Same thing. I just reached over and boom, I blew the disc, the 5/6 disc, whatever it was, and my feet are still numb from that day. Many
Really?
years ago. Yeah, my left foot actually is still numb.
That's weird.
Yeah, the nerve just never healed.
Well, Andrew gave me the advice of icing my back and relaxing and elevating my legs, and I've been sitting on a couch for like 2 days.
Yeah, Andrew's the chiropractor that Phil
Yes.
and I share.
Yes.
So just so you know, and do you get a massage every week too?
From Andrew?
No, from somebody who's a massage therapist.
I don't know.
Okay, so I work with a full-time trainer, and it still hasn't worked for me. I still have to lose the same 25 pounds I've been trying to lose for the last 2 years. But I'm actually it is actually helping. But he gives me a sports massage every week, and we go to the same chiropractor, and still we're getting old. It's just terrible. I hate getting old.
I don't feel like I'm old. I just think this is a weird anomaly.
Well, that's good because
It generally happens to me once every year and a half or something, but this one's pretty bad. I gotta tell you, I'm a pretty tough guy. I like to think I'm a pretty tough guy. I go to the gym. I play aggressive tennis for hours every other day. I'm an athlete, and yet how the heck do you go into complete uselessness
Yeah.
pulling a weed?
Yeah, we actually had to carry him down the stairs to put him into the studio today. It actually looked pretty bad when he came down the
Well,
hallway.
the reason I looked like I was in so much pain today was because of those shorts that Pietro was wearing. I mean, I was looking at those things going, what the heck are those?
It's
they-
unfortunate we can't.
they
It's
look-
unfortunate this is radio and we can't show the shirts that he's
Right,
wearing.
right. But the shorts, if you've ever seen the movie Chariots of Fire, that's a lot what it looked like.
You were just staring at his tush. I got it. He's got that Puerto Rican tush, right?
Yeah, I mean, from far away when I pulled into the parking lot, I thought a hot chick was waiting to help me out.
All right. If you guys are listening to the show for the first time, you're like, "What is this we're listening to?" We are actually a financial show, and if you want to call in with any of your questions, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. We'll talk to you about real estate. We'll talk to you about stock options, and we'll even talk to you about Pedro's shorts.
Yeah, we could talk about that. So, tell me yesterday, I assume you discussed the giving away of the BMW.
Yes. So last week, if you were listening to Phil to our show, Phil said he was going to give away his BMW, and it took us a couple of days, and we put it together. And if anybody wants to win Phil's car, you can go to winphilscar.com. Winphilscar.com.
That's a great name for a website.
I'm glad I thought of it because I am the genius, even if Dom Giordano doesn't think so.
Well, Dom, he sticks with the Italians.
I guess so.
Like me. We're thick.
So if you go to winphilscar.com, you can enter a video just with your best real estate tip. If you remember, we talked about that last week. You can enter a video with your best real estate tip, and when you enter your video, as of September 15th, your friends can vote on it. In fact, I'm going to play one of the videos for you because it is such a great video for us. You're going to hear the audio. I mean, obviously it's just a guy speaking, but you'll be able to hear the audio. And let me see if I can do that. But listen to this. This is the entry that he had.
Hey guys, my name's Calvin McVeigh. I'm a new member of Investor Schooling, and I think this is a great opportunity for me to not only win Phil's car, but also introduce myself. I'm 19, I'm from Flemington, New Jersey, and I'm super excited to learn about stocks and real estate. I'm a real estate agent in the Flemington area and surrounding areas, and from what I've seen and from what I've heard from Investor Schooling, there's a land of opportunities, and my real estate tip is to start now, because every day you miss is another day that you could be out there making money. So that's my tip, guys. I think it's honestly the best tip because if you don't start, no other tips apply. Get out there and do the work. Let's start now. Thank you guys, Calvin McVeigh. Take care.
I'm going to vote for him, Phil. I like that. That was great, wasn't it?
I might vote for him.
All right. Well, I'll vote for him first.
Don't you have to wait until September to vote for him?
September 15th is when it votes. So
Right, so you can't start voting yet.
Right. So if you want to go to winphilscar.com, you can enter a real estate tip, and you can. It's a video. You make a video, you put it on YouTube, you put it in the site, and you can vote. Your friends can vote on it. And by the way, it's a popularity contest. It's not. We don't pick it. Your friends pick it. All right. Anyway, the rules are up there. Take a look. Blah blah blah. You know what to do. It's got all those official rules that the lawyers said we have to put in there. Like you can't cheat.
All right, well, why don't we move on to the next topic?
All right. Let's do it.
So you've often advocated putting yourself on payroll from your own company.
Yes.
Would you take some time and explain that to people?
Yeah. So this is a difficult concept for a lot of entrepreneurs. They're business owners, and maybe they have a small business, and let's even say it's a grocery store that they just happen to open up, and maybe their only employee, and maybe it's them and their wife, their only employee, or when I say employee, the people working there. And, they're just basically taking money out of the register, putting it in their pocket, and going to buy food or going to pay their rent with that money. And they're giving up opportunities that they're really missing out on. And here, one of the main reasons that you should put yourself on payroll is because if you put yourself on payroll, believe it or not, you qualify for mortgages. So you don't have to tell the mortgage company that you own the company that you work for, especially if the company files a separate tax return than you do. So, for example, Phil and I, we go for mortgages. We're on payroll at Investor Schooling. We get checks, and we can show the mortgage company our pay stubs. And we just, we work for the company. Now, if they ask us, we're going to have to tell them we own the company, but they don't ask.
But that shouldn't change things anyway.
Right. They don't
What's
ask.
the difference if you own the company? It only solidifies your position in that company.
Right. Sometimes, but sometimes they want to look at the tax returns of the company, make sure the company can continue to pay you. That's the only reason they would do it, and to see if you're in debt in the company. But at the same time, that's one reason. Another reason, and one of my favorite reasons, is you have an opportunity to put money away. So you can actually put money into a Roth IRA or any IRA, at our age up to $7,000 a year. But in a Roth IRA, you have to have income. Both IRAs you have to have income. So you have to be able to show income. So that's another reason to put yourself on payroll. Here's another reason to have a payroll company doing all this is putting your children on payroll. So if you have a 5-year-old at home and you're trying to figure out how to pay to deduct all their expenses such as clothes, games. I mean, imagine getting a PS2 or PS3, whatever it is, and deducting that on your taxes. Do you know that you can do that if you do it right? You can't exactly deduct a PS3, but what you can do is you can pay your kids payroll. Now there's a $12,500 standard deduction, which means that you can pay them up to $12,500. And they won't have to pay taxes on that. Meanwhile, it's a tax deduction to your company. So that's a big plus. So then what you do is you then take that money and you open up a Roth IRA for your children. And here's the cool part about the Roth IRA for your children. You can use that for college. So now you put that, and they can use that Roth IRA for college with no tax implications and no penalties. And if they don't go to college, because a lot of people start to realize that college really isn't what it's supposed to be anymore, you don't need it to be an entrepreneur in our case, right? So
but you would need it if your goal in life was to become a far left liberal.
Yeah, because you that's all you learn there, right? You pay hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to become a far left liberal. It's brilliant. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so if they don't go to college, they could keep that Roth IRA and they could use it for retirement. And you don't have to worry about any, like a 529 plan where if you don't use it, you lose it, or you don't lose the tax deduction. It's a much better way to do it. So payroll is an awesome way to go when you have a business. Now, some of you out there may be saying, yeah, but then I have to tell the government what I make, and I have to pay Social Security tax. Oh, well. There's a lot of times that we teach things that cost a little bit more to implement than normal. But when I tell you the long run, it makes so much more sense. Like putting your cars in your business name instead of your own name.
Right.
And,
Suppose that you had like a 6-year-old grandson, okay? You could put him on payroll, pay him $12,000 a year, and, you could use some of that money for him maybe possibly to buy things for them. But technically, it's really your money, right?
No, it's their money, but you're the guardian.
It's their money, but you're the
You're
guardian.
the guardian, right? So,
Okay.
so you have full control of the money. So you could spend anything you want.
So you can use the money as you see fit.
Right, exactly, right.
And technically, if it's in their name, you should spend some of it on them. Anything you can buy them Christmas gifts, you could buy them birthday gifts, you could maybe help with their education or whatever it is that you want to do. Get them swimming lessons, whatever you want to do with it. And the rest of it you can use as you wish.
Right. I just want to correct it. It's not guardian, it's custodian. I used the wrong
Custodian.
word. But I just want to make sure that people understand you have full control of that money, and you can do whatever you want. So now they have their $12,500 up to 12. By the way, you don't have to pay them $12,000. You can pay them anything up to $12,500.
You can pay them $3,000.
Right. Yeah,
or whatever.
exactly.
Yeah, sure.
So now you take that money, you put it in a bank account under their name, and you're their custodian. And then what you do is you use that money to buy their PS3 or their bicycle or their college, whatever you want to do, and that's how you avoid them paying. That's how you become tax deductions for them, in your own business. It's such a great idea. I mean, there are people who do this, modeling fees for their kids. So we have our senior student liaison, Jamie. She puts a picture of her daughter, Juliana, up on the screen, and she pays her daughter for that picture, and it's absolutely brilliant. Now her daughter has income, and with that income, she could put that money away into a Roth IRA.
And that money could grow to be a much bigger number in the future.
Oh, it'll grow incredible, and it's never taxed. It's not tax deferred. It's never taxed if it's in a Roth IRA.
So what about if you got kids that are like in their 20s, early 20s, right? With kids like that, and they're not making a lot of money yet, it's do you still think that it makes a lot of sense to do it when the money is going to essentially be into a Roth IRA for the next 50 years?
Well, so if your kid's going to college and he's not making any money, and you want to pay him, it's the same thing. So now he's got college expenses.
Well, let's say he's not going to college. He's just living.
If he's 20 years old and living at home and he's not making more than $12,500, take your foot, have it hit the.
Well, that's not the situation.
Hit the bottom of his tush and kick him out the door and let him go to work.
Well, that's not the situation.
I know. I understand. I wasn't talking about you, but what I'm trying to say is this is where people have to understand that a 20-year-old, he should be working now, and he should be making more than $12,500.
Of course.
But the $12,500 is standard deduction, which is great, and this is how you can use the standard deduction to work in your favor. But if your kid's at home and he's going to college and you don't want him to work and you're going to pay him $12,500 out of your company, you can do that. You just have. By the way, just so you understand, I want to make sure you do know this too. It has to. Let me use the word. It has to appear legitimate. Okay, so you can't send your kid to California and we're in Philadelphia and he never comes to visit or never logs onto your website or your computer, and he doesn't have an email address at your company. He doesn't have a way to reach him. He's not a legitimate employee. Make it sure it's a legitimate employee.
It won't be a problem for me personally because my stepson Chris, my son Stone, they all from time to time do work at Executive.
Right, exactly.
Like this weekend they're moving furniture for me.
Exactly.
Right? Because I threw out my back.
Yeah, I bet.
Which I usually go and do that kind of stuff, or it's no big deal. Go down there for an hour and move some furniture around. It's no big deal.
For a rich guy, you work too hard.
Well, I come from a hard-working family. My mentors, my mother and father, were very hard workers, and they never stopped. They never stopped until they were very old. That's when they stopped.
I stopped. You don't work on your properties anymore, right?
No.
Never,
you mean
right.
like do work on my rental properties?
Do a kitchen
No.
or something? Okay, you're right.
No.
Okay, yeah.
But I still have to work on them. For example, like the project we were just talking about on Friday.
Right.
That project, I would have to fly down to Florida. I'd have to go out and find contractors to work for me.
Right,
I'd
sure.
have to pay those contractors. I'd have to explain to them what I want done. So there's still work involved. I'm just not physically doing the work anymore.
Right, I got it.
Right.
Yeah, and it's funny because you and I both started that way. We didn't know each other at the time, but I was doing my own work in my own properties. You were doing your own work in your own properties, and it didn't take long to realize that was a complete waste of our talents and time. I mean, I'm very good. I could do a whole kitchen, make it beautiful, but if I do that, then how much time am I taking up from finding properties?
Yeah, sure, I understand. I used to do the same thing. Okay, so. My parents never had any investment properties. So although they were great entrepreneurs, they didn't do any work on our house. There were always contractors that came into our house to do the work. So the very first house I ever painted was the first investment property I bought in 1989. I had never painted a wall
That's
up
awesome,
to that
right.
point, right? And my mother came over and kind of helped me.
I painted properties and discovered very quickly that I hate painting.
I don't hate it. I got pretty good at it. I'm a good painter. I'm a good drywall man. I'm a good I've done so much spackling that I could literally cover up the hole in the ozone layer.
So here's the funny part. You and I, every Christmas, we close for the week of Christmas to New Year's, and Phil and I come in and we kind of hang out together, and we're fixing. We patch up things in the room. Like somebody will walk by and they'll bump a wall and put a little small dent in it, or somebody will move one of the chairs and they'll put it. And Phil and I do that, but we do it mostly so we can spend time together and just bond. We bonded last year. We got drunk last year. Remember that?
Also, we have about 27 television sets in this building.
Right.
So Larry has to cut holes in the wall
Right.
every 3 feet to run wires somewhere.
So then I know it's funny because I was thinking about that. I'm sitting here saying that I would hire somebody to do all my renovations, but I've done all the electronics in this building.
Right, so one thing I learned last Christmas was if you drink an entire bottle of booze while fixing the walls, it does not accelerate the completion of the project.
No, as a matter of fact, I think that we had more holes in the walls after we started than. So if you guys have any comments, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. Of course, you can take a free class this Thursday night. Go to investorschooling.com. Go to investorschooling.com and you can RSVP for a class. And we are like this. I mean, this is us at the class. This is how we are, and you'll have a blast. I promise you, you'll learn something too. I promise you that for a free class that you'll take this Thursday night, you will learn more about stock options and real estate than you probably have learned before.
Oh, that's a fact for sure. So why don't you tell me about the money multiplier yesterday?
Right.
Talk a little bit about how it went. And
yeah, we really missed you. We had a couple of great speakers. We had Carl Fisher from Camaplan talked about being custodian for IRAs and Roth IRAs. That was a really great presentation. We also had my personal trainer, Gordon Prodecki. By the way, Gordon, wow, did he do a good job yesterday? He's come a long way. We gave him the opportunity to speak at one of these about a year ago, and he was okay. But he has learned to speak, and he has learned to present. He was a different guy up there. It was amazing. Then we also, of course, we had Brent Kessler, the actual money multiplier himself, talking about how to use life insurance, which is amazing, to bank on yourself. And I love this process. It's such a great idea. And then, of course, we had Chris Noggle, who talks about buying real estate with life insurance policies, or the money inside real estate life insurance policies.
which would be what I would want to do with it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what I'll be doing with my programs as well. And then, of course, I had to speak for 2 hours because my partner was in bed dying.
I wasn't in bed. I was on the couch
On the couch dying. I'm sorry.
drinking Tito's vodka.
And then again, you were my business partner because I don't want anybody to think that you were on the couch, lying on the couch, and you were my partner.
Well, I am your business partner.
Right,
And
that's what I
that's
just said.
why I emphasize business partner.
Right. That's because like I
Because
said.
today, when you say this is my partner, that usually means something else. Like if Pietro was with me and I said this is my partner, people would have some assumptions.
Well, that's because that only them and they think that.
Them and they, yes. Let's not get into that. So, you're telling me that Gordon was the outstanding speaker of the day?
I don't know. I'm going to say that he could have been. Yeah. I mean, he was outstanding compared to himself and compared to what.
Yeah.
In other words, as a
he's the-
speaker, he
okay,
was
so we'll call
fantastic.
him the most improved speaker.
Yes, I will easily call him the most improved speaker. He was
Okay.
fantastic.
Well, that's great. That's all about that's how we learned. We just kept doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And kept adding presentations and kept adding content. And as we learned new things, it became part of our presentation. And I started in 2009 public speaking when I wrote the book Addicted to Real Estate. And it's just grown after all these years.
Yeah,
So-
it turned into this. It
Turned
turned into
into
the
this,
school.
yeah,
Absolutely, right. 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. I see some people watching on Facebook. Thank you very much. But if you guys want to call and ask us some questions, 855-939-1137. In fact, if you were there yesterday at the Money Multiplier and you want to tell us how great it was, we'd love to hear it. 855-939-1137. You want to take a break?
Yeah, why don't we go to commercial, and when we come back, we'll hit some of these other topics.
Sounds like a plan.
Hi. Claire. InvestorSchooling.com. I'm inviting you to a complimentary class in Langhorne this Thursday night at 7 p.m. I will teach you how to buy ugly houses and make them beautiful. As a bonus, we will also teach you stock option investing. So get your butt to this meeting, 7 p.m. this Thursday night, Langhorne, 215-876-3002, InvestorSchooling.com.
Hey everybody, it's Larry Sinus from InvestorSchooling.com. You heard my partner Phil Falcone tell you why you should be there this Thursday night to learn about real estate investing and learn about stock options trading. We're telling you right now you will make more money than you've ever made in your entire life if you learn these two skills. Be there this Thursday night at 7 o'clock in our Langhorne headquarters. Go to InvestorSchooling.com. Pull over right now. Take out your phone and go to InvestorSchooling.com. RSVP right now. InvestorSchooling.com. See you Thursday.
Hi, I'm Phil Falcone from Executech Suites. We're an executive suite center in Huntington Valley on Buck Road, 67 Buck Road, Huntington Valley. I'm sure you've driven past it. We're right in between Street Road and County Line Road. We have 47 offices in the prestigious address of Huntington Valley. I have offices starting at $595 a month. You're probably wondering, Phil, what do I get for $595 a month? Let me tell you. You get an office big enough for one person. You get the furniture in that office. You get the telephone on the desk. You get the telephone numbers. You get the fax numbers. You get 2 full-time receptionists to answer the phone in the name of your company and patch the calls to you. So if your company's ABC Painting Company, hey, ABC Painting Company, how can I help you? Would you like to talk? Get them on the phone. You could be home sleeping on your couch and I'll patch the calls right to you. What else do we give you? We give you the conference rooms, we give you the kitchen, we give you the mailboxes, the printer, the copier, the scanner, UPS service, you name it. All of the utilities, cleaning service, and best of all, we give you free coffee. Get yourself to Executech Suites. Phone number is 215-942-7701. 215-942-7701. ExecutechSuites.com. Added it to the rent.
You're hot.
All right. Welcome back to Investor Schooling Live. Hey, we are here at Investor Schooling headquarters in the Investor Schooling Broadcast Network. We literally do transmit out of our headquarters, and if you ever are here and you want a tour of our studio rivals many studios out there. It's actually a beautiful studio. Come by and take a look. Hey, I forgot to tell you, I want to mention my book again that's coming out, Money Hacks, because everything you think you know about money is probably wrong, is the subtitle. It's coming out in a couple of months, and I know you're going to love reading it, Phil, because I mentioned you at least once in it.
I hope it's a good mention.
It's definitely a good mention. I talk about how smart you are because Tom Giordano said so.
All right. So, Larry said I was picking on him on Thursday night, but I wasn't. Larry makes very few mistakes, and he's provided me with a tremendous amount of knowledge that things that I didn't know that I now know, like becoming a expert stock option trader, which is something that I could have never done on my own easily.
You hear that, Tom Giordano? I'm pretty smart too.
Yeah, Larry's pretty smart. But every once in a while I catch Larry, he's got one little nasty habit. He tends to sometimes leave money on the table in regard to 2 categories. And one of them, we just happen to be talking about lease options with houses. So why don't you want to talk a little bit about your presentation on Thursday night about lease options?
So we're talking about lease options. I don't know how much I can explain about lease options, but I'll do my best. So basically with a lease option, I always put in my ads, if I'm going to lease a house, I always put in my ads that this is a rent to own or a lease option available. And basically what that means is if somebody wants to lease the property, let's say it's $1,500 a month, they want to lease the property and they want to be able to buy it later on in the future. What I'll do is I'll set a price that they could buy it for. Let's say the property is currently worth $150, and they have a lease option for the next 3 years. I believe the house will be worth $175 in the next 3 years. So I give them the option to buy that house at $175. Now, of course, for them, if the house goes up to $200, which by the way, some of my lease options have exceeded that number this year because of the craziness of the real estate market. However, I take a NROC, we talked about that earlier, an NROC, a non-refundable option consideration, and I ask for $10,000. So I was explaining this to the class. I asked for $10,000. I asked for $10,000. And by the way, this is non-refundable money. This is money that I get, and it's my money, and I get to keep it. And they have now what's called equitable interest in the property, which means that they are, the really cool part about this is this means that they partially own the property already. And they have to act like a partial owner. So if the heater goes bad, they have to fix it. The roof goes bad, they have to fix it. Now, sometimes you're going to make an accommodation, but basically that's what the lease option says. So it's a really great way to rent properties, and it gives them the opportunity to buy a property. It's really good for people who have money in the bank and have a bad credit, and they need to rebuild their credit. So maybe you come across somebody who's got a 550 credit score, but they have $50,000 in the bank, and they want to be able to buy a house, and they really like your house, they really want to buy it, but they can't right now because they need to rebuild their credit. It'll take them about a year or two to rebuild their credit. So after I'm done with that and I say that I take a $10,000, I hear a voice from the back of the room, which sounds like this.
Larry, I think you're leaving some money on the table.
Didn't I sounded just like you when I did that,
So
didn't I?
the only difference that I was pointing out to you, and the only thing that I do differently from your whole presentation is I never name the amount of NROC that I want up front. What I want to do is ask them, what kind of down money do you have to put down? Because there are people who, I've met people over the years who, for example, have never owned a house. Their family has been living in rental properties for the last 15, 20 years. And maybe, for example, mom passed away, left them some substantial money, and maybe they only have 75 grand or 100 grand. It's not enough to buy a house for a whole family, but it is a substantial amount to put down as an NROC and have the right to buy a house, right? And depending on their negotiation abilities, they could definitely, with that kind of money, they should be able to negotiate an arrangement that would work for both of us. It's a substantial amount of money, and that kind of money, I would be pretty flexible about how I would work a deal with them. I would give them extra years, maybe, to get their credit straightened out. I would possibly even contribute to the amount of principal that gets paid down, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of benefit to asking people up front. So I would advertise my property on the MLS, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, wherever, and I would say rent to own, lease to own, every pitch phrase you can think of. It doesn't matter. Financing available, take your pick. Put it all in there,
Sure.
right? Whatever you can put in there, because it means, those phrases mean different things to different people. And probably just, if you put it in there 4 or 5 different ways, it just confuses the heck out of them, and the only way they can figure it out is to call you, and that's what you want them to do anyway. You want them to call you so you can talk to them about it. And one of the first things I would say is, hey, well, let's start off with, you'd have to put down a deposit on a house like this. What kind of deposit could you put down? And that helps you, from a criteria standpoint, choose the right person. So that's where I start out, and then I do almost everything the same as you do it. But I like selling my buildings that way, although I'm not selling any buildings at the moment at all. I don't see myself selling anything else for a while. I'm keeping what I got, and I'm acquiring more. But in my plan, I don't see that I'm going to be doing much of this in the near future, but maybe 20 years from now, I will.
Now the highest NROC you ever got was 60,000. Is that right?
60,000.
That's pretty good. Now I have to tell you something about this.
But it was segmented. Okay, 30,000 was paid to me personally in cash, and 30,000 was used to repair the building from the flood damage.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Well, that's still pretty good.
So, but I still got, and he didn't execute the contract, so all the 60.
Right,
did
you get to
come
keep
me.
it. Right, and I don't want to give bad tax advice. So I'm going to start with good tax advice, and then I'm going to let you draw your own conclusion. So first of all, that $30,000 that he got, whether it's 60 or 30 doesn't really matter. But the $30,000 he got that he put in his pocket is actually non-taxable until the building actually changes hands, which is really interesting because that's when that's a taxable event. So if you had a 5-year lease option and $30,000 was given to you 5 years ago, you probably forgot about the $30,000 and forgot to tell your attorney about the $30,000. I'm about to get you in a lot of trouble, so don't admit to it. And most likely that $30,000 was never taxed. Now, I'm going to definitely reiterate our disclaimer that we're not accountants or we're not attorneys. Check with your accountant attorney before doing any of the techniques we share with you.
Well, I know that I discussed it with my accountant because I'm pretty organized when it comes
Right.
to that kind of stuff. I don't like to mess around on
Sure.
my taxes. I don't want the 9,000-pound gorilla coming after
Yeah,
me.
sure,
That's for
absolutely.
sure. There's a lot of things that you can do in life. You can get away with little things here and there, but when it comes to the IRS, I'd rather just pay them.
Guess who's on the phone?
Who?
Gordon.
All right. Well, put
Hey,
him through.
Gordon, what's going on, man?
What's up, Larry? How you doing, bud?
Good. We were talking about you, man. I don't know if you were listening or somebody signaled you and told you we were talking about you. We were talking about you.
The bat signal.
The bat signal. We were talking about what a great
Somebody
job
cut
you
out
did
the bat
speaking
signal.
yesterday. So what did you?
Is that what you guys were talking about?
Yeah, we're talking about what a great job you did. We were actually very impressed. We were so impressed. We told everybody on the radio how good of a speaker you were.
I heard you were talking about me. So I want to,
I
what
wouldn't
the
do
heck
that.
were you talking about?
Oh yeah, you have to go back and watch how he made fun of you.
It'd be fine with me. I could handle it.
Hey Gordon, can you do your impersonation of Phil?
Wait, my impersonation of Phil. Who's Phil? I don't even know what you're talking about.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's it? You're done?
Talking about the taxation and how it works.
So Gordon, for you guys listening who don't know who he is, he's my personal trainer. His name is Gordon Brodecki, and he comes to my house every day and makes and kicks my butt and makes me work hard and been changing my body, but I still haven't lost the 25 pounds that I promised I was going to lose 2 years ago.
So, Phil, to reiterate on what happened when you go back and watch it, I had a picture of Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger from the movie Twins, and I had one scene where we're looking at your tiny homes, and afterwards I pretend like I was walking off the stage and it was the end of the presentation.
Okay.
You have to see it. He
you
was being Arnold
yeah.
Schwarzenegger, and he was saying that you were Danny DeVito and you guys
Well,
were
that's
twins.
fine. I like that movie, actually. I think that was I thought it was a really well-done movie.
You know, whether Dom Giordano
So when I
agrees or
came
not,
back on-
that's me and Phil with the brains, not with the height, though.
Yeah. So when I came back on, you weren't around to make fun of me. So if I was you, I imagine what you would say, and I was like, "Well, you're not even that tall. You're shorter than me. Like you got no hair in your head because I'm bald." So I started going into that, and then everybody started laughing pretty loud, probably a little louder than they should have.
No, they were laughing. They were laughing at the right. They were laughing. They knew he wasn't here, so they laughed harder. It's good.
It's fine with me. You can pick on me anytime you want. I actually like that. In fact, Larry will tell you, and a lot of people around here, I hate when people are nice to me. It's not that I hate when people are nice to me, but I do. So, like, if you meet somebody who's, like, super nice to you, I just don't trust them. Like, I grew up in a family where people go, "What the heck's the matter with you? What are you thinking?" Right? Like, that's the way people would talk in my family.
So think about this, right?
Yeah.
He's got me as a business partner. You know, I'm not nice to Phil.
Yeah, well, when people are real nice to you, I'm very distrustful of them.
So, quick, Gordon, why don't you tell everybody how they can get a hold of you, and then we're going to move on to bigger and brighter things. Definitely bigger.
Yeah, you can get a hold of me at you can get a hold of me at 267-322-1011. That is my phone number. You can contact me on there. Text Habits, HABITS. I'm also the author of the bestseller Unleash the Ultimate You. Change your mindset, change your body. You can pick that up on Amazon, and that's where you guys can find me at. That's
I'm
the best
going to
way to reach me.
unleash the ultimate me next Money Multiplier.
I just wanted. The guy, he has an actual commercial ready to go when I say, tell people how to get a hold of you. That's how good he's gotten. That's pretty good, Gordon. All right. Hey, Gordon.
Thank you.
Hey, Gordon. I want you to. Hey, Sean. I want you to cut him off in the middle of a sentence. So go ahead, start talking, Gordon.
All right, Phil. I'll see you later, buddy.
Perfect. All right. Oh, by the way, Linda says, "Hey, I'm nice to you." Linda, my wife. I'm thinking she's talking to you when she says, "Hey, I'm nice to you."
Well, I don't think Linda is capable of being mean to people.
No.
She might not be.
Yeah. There is definitely any word that is a synonym with the word nice has my wife next to it in the dictionary. The picture for my wife. next to the dictionary.
She's just too much of a sweetheart.
I know.
I can't pick on her.
Absolutely.
Although
it's terrible.
Maybe I will one day and really test her.
Yeah, I've done it. It doesn't work. 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. Call in. Tell us what you think so far of the show. Don't forget to go to winphilscar.com, and you can win Phil's car. I had to tell you a story about this yesterday. We're doing the money multiplier, and we teach people how to make money, right?
Right.
So, I said to a couple of people, "Hey, you gonna enter the contest?" Nah. Hey, you gonna enter the contest? Nah. Hey, you gonna enter the contest? Nah. And I'm like, I got up in front of the stage. I said, "What is wrong with all you people?" I said, "This car is probably worth 15 to 20 grand. Absolutely minimum, it's worth 15 to 20 grand. Listen, we're not saying you have to drive the car. We prefer if you did, but we're not saying you have to drive the car. How long does it take to make 15 or 20 grand? The average person, right? So the average person probably takes, let's say, 4 to 6 months to make 20 grand, right?
Yeah.
Right. You make a video that's 30 seconds long. It takes you 10 seconds to put it up on the website, and then you just post it on Facebook and have your friends vote for it. And if you have the most votes, you win. So you might be able to win an equivalent of anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000 in 5 minutes of work.
Are they aware that they could win the car, hop in the car, drive to a dealership,
Of course.
sell it for $20,000, and leave?
Right. It fascinates me that none of them have put this together. I had to explain it to them.
And the
I had to
Uber
step
ride
by step.
home will cost them
Right.
$22.
Right, exactly. And maybe we should even offer the Uber ride home if they do sell it. Because
maybe
maybe they'll
that's
give them incentive. Because who
Maybe
knows?
that's the deal killer.
What's going on? WinPhilsCar.com. WinPhilsCar.com. It's not difficult.
By the way, it's a convertible.
Yeah. It's a beautiful BMW Z4 convertible.
Yeah.
I realize it's old. What is it, 2011?
Yeah, it's a 2011.
Yeah, so yes, I mean it's not brand new, but it's Phil's car. I mean that's the most exciting part about it is it's your car.
And
I mean it would probably only be worth $3,000 if it wasn't your car.
It's a very cool car.
Yeah, and it's got I buy houses on the side if you want to.
I'll tell you what I do with it. When I see a 90-degree turn coming up, I accelerate with that car.
It's a lot of fun to drive.
It's got extra wide back tires, and you cannot. The back end will not slide out on you.
Yeah, I actually tried to spin the wheels yesterday, and I didn't tell you, but I couldn't.
Well, thanks for doing that. Glad to hear that you're driving my car around like a lunatic. I'm happy to hear that.
All right. Anybody else out there? 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. And we'll be more than happy to answer your questions. We kind of we got just about 15 minutes left. We're not ready for the stock option consultant. What topic do we want to go to?
I don't know. Why don't we talk a little bit about things that we're expanding into? Like yesterday, I was telling Larry about a mobile home park that I've got under contract in Florida. And Larry and I were discussing it. We were just talking about, the pros and cons of the deal, the potential earning capability that it currently has versus what it could have down the road. This is something that should not be overlooked. For example, if you are a real estate investor or you're thinking about going out and buying some kind of property, imagine if you could show up at investor schooling, if you were a student here, you could sit in a room with 40 actual people and maybe another 50 people on Zoom, so 90 people available to give you advice on a particular property that you're buying, and to have all these other people help you make good decisions about how you're going to buy this property, if you're going to buy it, what you're going to do with the rents, and all the important things that real estate investors like Larry and myself have learned over 3 decades, more than 3 decades. So Larry's almost in his 4th decade, right?
Yeah, actually, I've been doing it for 38 years.
You're 38 years. I've been in it 32 years.
Yeah.
So between the two of us,
70?
yeah, that's a
my
round
goodness.
number,
That's
man.
a very scary number.
That's a round number.
Very
So
scary number.
imagine if you had all that help. Do you think that help could actually behoove you to make great decisions? If you think that you can't make a mistake in real estate, well, you're wrong. Most real estate investors who do this full time throughout their life, they're going to make a mistake here and there. It happens to almost everybody. Coming to a place like Investor Schooling, yeah, we call it a school, but in some respects, it's almost like being in a club. You come here on a Monday night, you sit in a room, you can say, hey guys, I got a problem, or I got a property, I think it's a good property, but I don't know what to do about this or that. Imagine, get all the advice that you will get, okay, to help you make great decisions. You probably won't be able to write down all the great advice as fast as you need to, because that's what happens here almost every Monday night when we have our mastermind meetings. If you haven't been to one of our mastermind meetings, you need to get your butt to Investor Schooling.
Yeah, and you have to start off with the Thursday night class first.
Yes.
So we'll invite you to a Thursday night class this Thursday night. Go to investorschooling.com and you can sign up and RSVP for this Thursday night at 7 o'clock in Langhorne. By the way, if you're listening anywhere, we're all over the country now. Our this radio show's all over the country now. And if you're listening anywhere all over the country, you can watch this show. You can watch our show via Zoom. It's 7 p.m. Eastern, so it's 4 o'clock in California. And you could watch the show. And it's actually extremely entertaining. We go on for a couple of hours, about 2.5 hours, not even 2.5 hours, maybe 2 hours and 15 minutes. And we have so many topics that we cover in that. And it's a real class. It's not a sales pitch. We sit there and we teach. You will be sitting in a class that the other students have paid for. And they did the same thing when they came. They sat in a class, they enjoyed it, then they came to the mastermind meeting, and then if they decided this was for them, we told them about the school, and if they wanted to become a student, they became a student. It is
Right.
just so much fun. By the way, last Friday, when we did that analysis of that mobile home park, I wish we videotaped it.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good idea. We should start doing that.
Yep, because that was great. Because Phil and I, just so you know, Phil and I, we're two different people. We have different opinions. We have different thoughts on how to make money with certain projects. And we were going back and forth on how we can make money, what the exit strategies are. And it would have been such an impressive video because
From now on, let's
great.
do that. We need to have a little tripod with a
Sure.
camera on it, maybe a GoPro.
You can have Pedro do it
Yeah, sure.
because he's not busy. He doesn't have anything to do.
Well, if Pedro wasn't around, we could put a little GoPro on a table with a tripod
Yeah,
and record it.
definitely.
We should do that because those are great learning sessions, talking about deals, and it's very helpful. So we do that for each other, and we also do it on Monday nights because I am not above saying to the group, "Here's a problem I'm having. Hey, let me throw it out there."
Yeah, and that's true. We've actually had a lot of great advice come just from a student who had a solution to something.
Yeah.
And it was just something that we just didn't think of because now we have 50 people in the room and everybody's thinking about the problem and somebody comes out with a solution or even starts the solution to the problem. In other words, maybe they give you the first step and then we expand on it. So it's really great. It's actually one of my favorite days is Monday nights.
As a matter of fact, I am actually having a bit of a problem that has arisen. And I believe I've handled it at this point, but I'd like to discuss it with you because it could become more of a problem.
Well, let's bring it up. Let's do it.
I don't think it's something I want to
On the radio?
talk about on the air
understood,
right now.
understood.
Only
yeah.
because we put this on Facebook and it will be available to the individual who's questioning the deal.
Okay.
So I'd
Understood.
rather just talk to you privately
Understood.
about that.
Yeah.
But we could discuss it down the road.
So you're afraid, you're going to end up, with something like this?
No,
Okay.
I don't think I'm going to be crying, and I don't think he's going to be crying. We're
That's
So,
all right. Yeah, we
something
can. We
we'll
can.
talk
I
about
got it.
later.
I got it. And if you guys, if your students listening to this and you want to hear this, you could sit in the room with us if you want to. You could be a fly on the wall.
all right.
All right,
So
855-939-1137. We got a few minutes left. 855-939-1137. Feel free to call in. We'd love to hear from you. All right, what else we got?
well, you want to get into the stock option Sultan?
I guess we can. Why not?
We got a couple of questions.
Stock Option Sultan.
So, have you been watching my new show?
Of course.
Oh, beautiful. So I have a show called Money Chat Now. It's actually every single day I do a market wrap-up show on Facebook, YouTube. You can go to the Investor Schooling YouTube site, and you can actually subscribe, and you can watch. I've been talking every single day. I've been wrapping up the news and wrapping up the stock market every single day, and I will continue doing it. It's really great. I actually, at first I was a little scared to do it. And the first episode, I wasn't even sure if I could come up with a half an hour material. Now I'm struggling to fit it all in a half an hour. So it's actually working out pretty well. So
Well, I got a great solution for that. If you're struggling to fit it all in, keep some of the material and do it tomorrow.
no, I understand, but I have a certain amount of topics I talk about. So yeah, so it's called Money Chat Now, and you can actually go to the Money Chat Now page on Facebook, or you can go to YouTube and you can subscribe to Investor Schooling channel. By the way, there's other stuff on the Investor Schooling channel. It's great stuff too. So that would also be a great place to go. So here are some. Hey, have I told you that airlines and cruise stocks are the place to be?
Of course.
Stay there. Keep going there. There's still time. AAL is at 21 now, I believe. Yeah, just under 21. This is a stock. This is a play. This is a play. If you play this, you forget about the stock option. Just buy the stock. This thing will probably be 35 in February, so that's a no-brainer. And if you're gonna do a if you do a stock option on it, go into January or February. You're probably gonna pay $3 or $4 for a $20 strike price, and you're gonna easily. I mean, if you really wanted to hold out on this one, I usually tell people not to. But if you wanted to hold out on this one, you probably will double your money on this play. This is an easy.
You're
no-brainer
not talking
play.
stock options. You're talking stock.
No, I'm talking. If you took the stock, 35 would be the absolute max out price I would go on the stock. But I wouldn't even go that high in a stock option. I'd go to probably 30 max on the stock option. My out price is 27. And I think it's going to go there, no problem, no brainer, easy peasy. And
So would this be something you're selling covered calls on?
I wouldn't even sell the covered calls on it. Well, you can sell the covered calls on it if you want to hold the stock. The problem is you're going to lose the stock.
Yeah,
very
you're going
fast.
to lose the stock. If it pops
Right.
the way you think it's going to pop, you're going to lose it anyway.
Right, but you still make $3 or $4 before you lose it. So
I understand.
It's not a bad play. So then also CCL. By the way, CCL at 23, same thing. CCL will probably be at 40 in February, in January, February. What I'm going by it, and if you're paying attention at all to the stock market, you know that everything recovered except for the travel industry. The travel industry is eventually going to recover. It has to. It just has to. One day, the news media is going to go, "Hey, let's talk about something besides the Delta variant, which D stands for one side of the political party." Anyway, that's going to go away, and when that goes away, this is all going to come back. The world's going to come back. I'm going to be able to go on my cruises again. I miss cruising so bad, Phil. I can't stand it. Sometimes I actually said to my wife, we were having dinner last night, and he said, "Hey, did you feel that?" We were at a restaurant. And he said, "Hey, did you feel the boat rock?" That's how badly I want to go on a cruise. And she laughed. She thought that was very funny.
Well, I don't think it's funny what's happening right now.
No, I think it's
mean,
funny
the whole behavior about this Delta variant, which I really, the death rate. First of all, if you open up the border and let 200,000 people a month come into your country, I mean, you're gonna get the disease in there with it.
Of course.
On top of that, there's all this fear factoring going on, and there's so many people walking around with masking up again. I can't even believe
I know.
it. Right, and in certain ridiculous places like San Francisco and New York, they're requiring vaccinations for using the gym, going to a restaurant, and I was planning on going to Belize to look for some investment properties over there for vacation rental purposes or escaping America purposes. And Biden came out on Friday, I believe it was, Friday afternoon, and he made a speech about the auto. He was making speeches about auto industry and about electric cars, and he said that he's going to require Americans who leave the country to be vaccinated before they can come back.
Right.
So now I'm questioning can I even go to Bullies right now?
Repeat after me. Yes, I am vaccinated.
Of course, yes, I am vaccinated.
That's it. End of discussion. Coinbase. Coinbase is another play. Coinbase is a great play, but at 258, it's too high. I'd like to see Coinbase below 230. That's the play. Below 230, that's the place. By the way, Robinhood, I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and I actually bought Robinhood at 36. I sold it at 72, and I'm looking to buy it again if it goes below 50. Now, at the time, there were no stock options available on it. Now there are stock options, but the stock options are so ridiculously expensive because it's such a volatile stock that I can't buy stock options on it yet. But if it goes below 50, I'm going to buy more stock, and I'm going to sell it again. I think it'll double again. You ready? My other crazy new thing is sort of crypto. I've said this before that Ethereum is the play. Ethereum is at 3,000 again, or just under 3,000 again. It's a play. It's something. If you have some money and you want to do it, great. I'm still trying to wrap my head around Ethereum and Bitcoin, and I'm going to tell you that we're going to do a presentation on it. I have a couple of people that I know that are very involved in it, and I want to pick their brain. I'm going to write a presentation on it because I think it's time that Investor Schooling teaches it. Not necessarily invest in it, but teaches it. How could we be missing out on something so important as this as a school? So we will be teaching it. Look for that in the next 2 to 3 months. We will be having a presentation on Bitcoin. On cryptocurrency. Bitcoin will be part of it. I have a good friend of mine who's opening a mine. He's actually going to open a mine. Anyway, we have about 1 minute and 45 seconds left.
How does one open a mine?
He bought a building. He bought a huge building. He's putting multiple computers in there, and he's going to build his own power supply. He's going to have his own power generator to run it. Because the biggest problem with mining crypto is how expensive it is to mine it. And it's the electric that costs the most money.
Define for me mining crypto.
So mining is, I don't know if we got 30 seconds. I don't know if I could do it in 30 seconds.
You don't have 30
but
seconds.
Basically, it's
59:45.
No, I know. It's okay. I got a minute. It's the process in which your computer records the transaction that happened. So multiple computers record the transaction, and you get paid a certain amount of Bitcoin to do that transaction. Like Ben Franklin did when he was making money, he got a certain amount of the money.
Mining means you're conducting transactions.
You're conducting transactions, and you're getting paid for it in Bitcoin.
Okay. So I guess you have to buy it and then sell it to people? Or?
No, you just record it. I could sell it to Pedro. Your computer records it.
Interesting. Okay. So don't forget to visit Investor Schooling for your free class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. We're going to be talking about real estate investing and stock option investing. And like Larry said earlier in the show, we are not doing a sales pitch. You will not be pressured to sell anything. Don't bring your credit cards. Don't bring your check. You don't need it, okay? We're just inviting you to a class. And if you like what you see and you're interested, we'll invite you to another class. And it's that easy. So our address is 108 Corporate Drive in Langhorne, Pennsylvania, Thursday night at 7 o'clock at investorschooling.com. We hope to see you there. We are out of here.
This program is a paid commercial announcement.
Clear.
The views of WPHT